Garth survives a potential disaster of not dealing Thomas Vanek, which we thought might have been a possibility, which you called a fireable offense. But in the end, this is how it shakes down. Matt Moulson, and a full year of Matt Moulson, a first-round pick in either this year or next year will be the Islanders' decision, and a second-round pick. The Islanders trade, and they end up with the end of it, Sebastian Kohlberg, a prospect from Sweden, and a second-round pick. That's not a good deal. Not good. You understand what I guess he was trying to do, going to get Vanek, making a push, make Tavares happy. Maybe you can convince him to stay. Poorly executed, poorly thought out, because when you look at it straight up, you have a prospect in Kohlberg, you're not exactly sure what he's going to be, versus a full year of Matt Moulson, John Tavares' best buddy. That's not good for the Islanders. You look at a first-round pick versus a second-round pick. They lost the first rounder, they gained a second rounder. That's not good for the Islanders, and they lost another second rounder. That's not good for the Islanders. You look at the components of that deal, stack them one against another, net. It's all bad for the Islanders, and for a team that needs to rebuild, need assets, is not good enough to mismanage their key players like this. So is it still fireable? Well done. No, absolutely, had he not traded Vanek, it would have been. I understand what he was trying to do, hoping that Vanek might be convinced to stay if they had a ton of success and build off of what they did last year, but maybe a little bit more due diligence on Vanek and his willingness to perhaps sign a contract and a better idea of where your team's at this year and your goaltending situation, because they were not going to be competitive this year.
And don't forget, they also had Andrew McDonald as a player that wasn't going to re-sign for him. They offered contracts to both those guys, and they got a third and a fifth rounder from Philadelphia. Draft pick. Eventually, you've got all these guys that are 18 years old. You got to wait 5 years before they become impact players.
Interesting as the dust settles to see if these guys really truly grossly overestimated what they thought they were getting. I mean, we were all presuming that Anaheim was a player for Vanek. When you move Penner, with some idea, you're assuming that Vanek may be one of those players coming back your way, and he doesn't end up there. Is it the price was just far too high and never really actually came down until it was just too late?
And all this whole year, and McDonald leaving, and Moulson leaving, and Vanek not wanting a contract, it seemed like the Islanders were making a move away from that place where nobody wanted to play. They're going into Brooklyn. They're getting better. They have Tavares. This all reinforces that perception that's been around for the last 15 years, that was not a desired location.
Guys, the last time they won a playoff series, I was in it.
They came pretty close against Pittsburgh, though. The shame,
seriously.
They almost beat the Penguins last year, and there looked like so much
I'm almost 6 feet.
So much hope.
You almost have a forehead.
Yeah, you're not close.
You guys sit over there. Don't add
I'm closer than you, and I'm far away. Those were the two headline deals of the day, but there was a lot else that happened, and Jennifer Hedger is here to recap it all.
Thanks, James. Yes.